Welcome to Santa Clarita Weekly, where we cover all things local in Santa Clarita Valley every Saturday morning at 9 on KQRU 107.9. Join hosts Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty as they uncover the latest news, events, sports highlights, and more, keeping you connected and engaged with what matters most in our hometown.
Welcome back to another edition of Santa Clarita Weekly with Tim Haddock and Sage Rafferty. I'm Sage. He's Tim. You can listen to us on the radio at KQRU 107.9 FM on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. We are also on YouTube and Instagram, and you can find us on SantaClaritaStar.com. This episode, we're talking about the Chiquita Canyon Landfill. The operators of the Chiquita Canyon Landfill hosted a pair of meetings to help people apply for financial relief, a program that many have not accessed. The Chiquita Canyon Landfill has been producing pollution and contaminating the air, water, and land in nearby communities for months. The landfill operators who initiated the relief program offered to provide assistance applying for relief during a community advisory meeting in Passaic in May. We're also going to talk about George Whitesides blasting Mike Garcia and Donald Trump on Sunday and June 3rd. George Whitesides actually mentioned the recent felony convictions of Donald Trump. So we'll talk about that. Hart High School Baseball team and sports. The Hart High School Baseball team was recognized at Dodger Stadium in a pre-game ceremony for winning the CIF Southern Section Division II championship. The members of the team met the Hart High graduate Tyler Glasnow, one of the Dodgers pitchers from Santa Clarita, and I believe he graduated from Hart High before the game too. So Los Angeles Dodgers, the Dodgers bullpen got a boost with the return of closer Evan Phillips during the weekend series against the Colorado Rockies at Dodger Stadium, and it looks like starter Bobby Miller is close to coming off the injured list as well. And finally, Rams kicker Tanner Brown, who we've been following, who played football at Saugus High and College of the Canyons, is making progress at spring practice, and rookie defensive tackle Braden Fisk is experiencing his first spring football practices as a pro. You are listening to KQRU 107.9 in Santa Clarita. You can listen to us to Santa Clarita Weekly on Saturday mornings at 9 and on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you get your podcasts. So let's talk about Chiquita Canyon Landfill. The operators of the Chiquita Canyon Landfill are offering a relief program for people affected by the pollution coming from the landfill, but not many people have applied. The money is available to help with relocation costs, and high utility bills. The landfill has been repeatedly cited for violations ranging from transporting toxic chemicals to other sites to being the source of chemicals leaking into nearby water supplies. The South Coast Air Quality Management District said it has received nearly 15,000 complaints about the landfill from nearby residents since January 2023. The pollution and problems produced at the landfill, millions of dollars are available to those affected by the pollution, but only a fraction of that relief money has been distributed, and only about 100 applications have been received. According to the landfill operators, 123 residents paid from the landfill relief fund over the past 2 months, and $227,300 in aid has been distributed. The purpose of the meetings was to let people in the community know the relief funds are available and help them apply for assistance. The Environmental Protection Agency is leading a multi-agency task force to monitor the landfill, but experts say it might take years for the landfill to remove the contamination and reduce the pollution it is creating. Tim, do you have any thoughts on this?
A few. It's nice to see the landfill operators at least accepting some responsibility for the pollution they're creating. It's also a little sad to see that not many people either don't know about it or don't know how to apply for the relief. I'm a little surprised that so few people have taken advantage of this program, and that there are millions of dollars available. The Chiquita Canyon Landfill made $3.5 million available out of its own program alone, and the county has its own program as well, which was supposed to help people who live in the nearby communities with their high utility bills. They were expected to close all their windows and run their air conditioning nonstop to keep the air pollution out, keep the smells out of their house. So there is relief available. There's money available to help people who live near the community, but the pollution isn't going away, and that's really the sad part about it. I don't know what the Chiquita Canyon landfill can do to stop the pollution. There's no way to stop the chemical reactions, but there is help available. It's just either people just don't know about it, or they don't know how to access it. And these meetings were supposed to help solve that problem, but it's still a problem.
Yeah. So let's talk about what happened this past Sunday. Let's change the subject a little bit about George Whitesides blasts Mike Garcia and Donald Trump on Sunday at Newhall Park. And this is on June 3rd. George Whitesides slammed incumbent Congressman Mike Garcia and the GOP, highlighting Donald Trump's recent felony convictions in New York City. Most politicians, at least locally here, both Democratic and Republican, probably for different reasons, have been pretty silent about Donald Trump's convictions. But, it was interesting to see that. A recent poll showed that Mike Garcia and George Whitesides are in a very tight race. So let's watch a bit of George Whitesides' speech right now.
Today, this is a really important moment in American history, right? We have a Republican extreme Congress that is the least effective in over 50 years. We have a Republican standard bearer who, somehow has now been convicted of 34 felonies. And democracy and our entire society is at risk. So you doing the work here is really, really important out there, that people know that Mike Garcia is not representing them. He is a Republican extremist who co-sponsored the national abortion ban, who voted to overturn the presidential election in 2020 in a district that voted for President Biden by 12.5 points, right? This is a guy who wants to cut Social Security, but we're going to defend Social Security. This is a guy who wants to cut reproductive freedom, go after the morning after pill, maybe even go after contraception. He's someone who is going to continue his assault on health care, trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Remember, for those of you who are old enough, remember when pre-existing conditions were keeping people from getting health care? We don't want to go back to those days, do we? No, we don't.
All right. So let's switch and talk about sports. So the Hart baseball team was recognized at Dodger Stadium before a game against the Colorado Rockies for winning the CIF Southern Section Division II championship. Hart coach Jim Ozella won his first CIF championship in his last season at Hart, retiring after 25 years as Hart's head coach. Hart High graduate Tyler Glasnow, who played for Ozella, met with the players on the field before the game. Ozella coached 8 players at Hart who went on to play in the major leagues. So Hart won the CIF Southern Section Division II championship by beating Moore Park 7-6 in the final game. The Hart players were on the field before the game and introduced to the crowd during the program activities. It was a Santa Clarita centered program at Dodger Stadium. Ken Striplin, the city manager of Santa Clarita, threw out the ceremonial first pitch, and Tyler Glasnow's dad, Greg Glasnow, announced the start of the game by issuing the phrase made famous by Ben Scully, "It's time for Dodger baseball." Tim, you were there. Do you have any comments about what you saw.
Yeah, so it was a nice tribute to the Hart baseball team, and I could tell the kids, the players on the Hart baseball team, they were excited to be on the field. They were excited to meet Tyler Glasnow too, and it looked like Tyler was excited to see the kids as well. I know the Hart players brought T-shirts with the CIF championship on them, and Tyler, they gave one to Tyler, and I saw him put it on the field when he was meeting with the players. So he had fun with the kids had fun with him, and during the game they got on the big screen at the game. They were dancing, having a good time, cheering. So it was all fun for the Hart baseball team, and it was a nice way to celebrate their championship and wrap up their season with a nice night at Dodger Stadium.
Well, let's talk about the Dodgers. So closer Evan Phillips made his return from the injured list in the series against the Colorado Rockies. In his first game back with the Dodgers, he recorded the final 3 outs in order and ended the game getting pinch hitter Jake Cave to the ground out to second base. The Dodgers won the game 4-1, and starter Yoshinobu Yamamoto won his 6th game of the year. With Phillips returning to the closer role, the Dodgers used a series of relievers that will probably become the norm at the end of games from now on. So Daniel Hudson pitched the 7th inning, Blake Trinan pitched the 8th, and Evans pitched a perfect 9th inning. That will become a familiar combination as the season unfolds. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said after the game, it's the bullpen setup he likes to see at the end of game. He also said that the Dodgers starter Bobby Miller is close to returning to the rotation. He injured his shoulder and has been making rehab starts in the minors. So Miller was with the Dodgers for the series against the Rockies. Roberts talked about what he saw from Phillips and what he liked about it. So let's listen to that interview right now.
Did it look to you like Evan just picked up where he left off?
He did. It was good. I thought versus the right-hander, the command was great, sweeper great, and then even when he got behind Cade right there, to go in with that cutter I thought was good and induce a soft grounder to finish the game was great. But yeah, to go Hudson trying and Evan was pretty exciting for me.
Dave, we saw Bobby Miller walking out. What was the report on his outing in Lake Elsinore?
I didn't talk to Bobby. I know he was in the dugout late, so I'll talk to him tomorrow. But early on, I heard that the velocity was down. There were some hits out there, so I didn't watch the video or talk to Bobby. So I don't know if those guys are just aggressive early. There were some plays not made, hard dirt. I don't know, but the velocity was something that was a couple of miles an hour lower than what's typical for Bobby.
So Phillips said that he has been trying to stay sharp in his time off. He was satisfied with the way the game ended.
How satisfied were you with command your pitches, after a layoff like that?
Yeah, like I said, that was the goal. My goal was to stay as sharp as I possibly could through the time off, and I think all the bullpen, the slide PPs, the games in Rancho, that was a goal of mine, was to try to pitch like I had been and how I will when I return. So, like I said, I think we did a pretty good job, but there's still a lot in front of us, and that'll be my goal day by day.
Just seeing how they lined up, Yoshinobu getting through 6, Daniel Hudson, and then Blake, and then you. I mean, I know this is kind of exactly where you guys want to be. What is it from your kind of just viewpoint, seeing the high leverage arms, everyone healthy, and just kind of being in a position in which you can attack and have a game plan like tonight?
Yeah, I think when our entire staff is healthy, we're going to be in a really great position to win. I think we still have a lot of major pieces missing. So, for me to come back and for we're waiting on Joe Kelly and Ryan Brazier, but just to picture that bullpen when that time comes will be a lot of fun. So we'll see when that time is, but for now, our guys are doing a heck of a job.
Outfielder Teoscar Hernandez said he was happy to see Phillips back on the mound in the 9th inning too.
How good is it for you guys to have Evan Phillips back?
Oh, great. Now we know every time we got the lead in the 9th inning is close to 100% that we're going to win the game.
So the Dodgers won 5 of 6 games against the New York Mets and Colorado Rockies. The lone loss came against the Rockies in the first game of their series against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are 38-23 after 61 games and have a 6.5 game lead over the San Diego Padres in the National League West standings. The Dodgers head out on a 6-game road trip, first against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then a weekend series against the Yankees in New York. So, Tim, how are the Dodgers going to look now that players are coming back off of injuries?
Right. So the pitching staff is starting to look a lot better with Evan Phillips coming back. That really solidifies the bullpen, and listening to the players after the game, listening to Dave Roberts after the game, they all want Evan Phillips in that closer role. They're more confident with him. Teoscar Hernandez talked about how the chances of winning with Evan Phillips on the mound in the 9th inning are they increase. I mean, it's almost automatic. He's that good. And Dave Roberts now has a bullpen with 3 relievers in it that he can put into games, and it's probably going to shut down other teams. I mean, the 3 relievers that he has with Daniel Hudson and Blake Trinan and Evan Phillips, that's a tough 3 pitchers to get through at the end of a game. So I think Dave Roberts likes having the bullpen set up the way it is right now, and I could tell the players we're just happy to see Evan Phillips back on the mound. Now, as far as Bobby Miller goes, he has been working through his injury to get back into the rotation, and Dave Roberts talked about how he's progressing. He's still not, the velocity is still not quite where it was before the injury. So Dave Roberts is still a little concerned about how effective he's going to be when he comes back, but he's close. And Dave Roberts said, he was in the dugout for the games, for the series against the Rockies, and Bobby Miller's ready to get back to playing, to pitching in the major leagues. I think they're going to give him a little more time to recover, to get healthy from his injury, but everything is pointing in the direction that he's going to return soon.
So let's switch gears here and talk about the Los Angeles Rams. Tim, you were able to go to the Rams practice. We've been following kicker Tanner Brown, who is from Santa Clarita and is competing for his spot on the LA Rams with rookie kicker Joshua Carty. Brown said he is focusing on his consistency and accuracy in practice. Carty was drafted by the Rams in the 6th round. He played at Stanford in college. Brown started his college career at College of the Canyons and ended at Oklahoma State. He was signed by the Rams as a free agent and spent spring practice and the preseason with the Rams last season. In his second stint with the Rams, Brown is working on his focus. He played in 3 preseason games with the Rams last season and made 2 of 4 field goals. He was cut before the season started, but the Rams are giving him another chance to make the team. So let's, Tim, you're able to talk to him. Let's listen to that interview right now.
I feel like I'm doing good, progressing well. Obviously trying to stay more consistent, hit a more consistent ball, more pure ball, especially playing the wind here. It's pretty tricky. That's mainly the same thing, staying locked in the whole time through practice and just hitting that clean, pure ball, making the kicks when my team needs me.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you're working on? Is there anything in particular that you need improving on?
Some specifics, kicking wise, like I got a couple, not bad habits, but a couple things that I need to fix, like my drive step. I need to be more on the ball of my foot, and it helps with my cleaner contact. So just small stuff like that, small tweaks, but it's all come together.
Okay, and then I wanted to ask you too about your college career. Is there a special moment, a special memory you have from college, and does any of that carry over into a pro camp or pro practices like this?
I had couple of good college games, had a good college career, but a few games stand out, like Texas. Those are the big games. You got a big crowd. It's a close game. Big 12 championship, Fiesta Bowl, all that kind of stuff. But once you get here, it kind of erases because everyone was the best of their college team. Everyone did a lot of great stuff. So obviously we tell stories sometimes. We don't really ride with it here. Just move on.
All right, so defensive tackle Braden Fisk was drafted by the Rams in the second round out of Florida State. He is experiencing spring football practice in the NFL for the first time. He's also part of what Coach Sean McVay described as a deep defensive line. There are 6 players who are expected to rotate on the line and are all impressing the Rams coach in practice. Fisk talked about working with the team and what he is learning in practice. McVay added that Fisk is one of many new players of the Rams who he expects to contribute next season.
That's going to be an ideal scenario. I really love the depth that Joe Caniglio is establishing. You look at Byron Young, Michael Hoyt played a bunch of snaps last year. Those two have done a really good job. You've really seen a good, and I've really been impressed with Jared Verse. He's done a great job of really imposing his will, continuing to learn. Brennan's done a lot of the same things. I've seen Nick Hampton take strides in the right direction. Those guys on the outside have really done a nice job to be able to provide us with some depth. And then on the interior, Gibb Smith, A.C. Carter done a great job. Kobe Turner has been a steadying force. I've really been impressed with he and Bobby Brown. Larry Murchison is still there. I think Braden Fisk has really just started to, step up. You start to feel him in these practices. He's getting comfortable with what we're asking. Tyler Davis has done a lot of good stuff, but there's guys that I'm leaving out, but really I've been really impressed with the group as a whole. And then once we get into these padded settings is when we'll start to get a better evaluation in addition to the preseason.
So Tim, with both Brown and Carty vying for the kicker spot, what specific drills or techniques are separating their performances in practice?
Right. So not only do the kickers this year have to prove that they can make field goals and extra points on a consistent basis and not make errors when they're on the football field, they have to learn new kickoff rules that the NFL is putting into place next year. And the kickoff rules are changing to make returns happen more often. They want the receiving team to return the football, and they're going to penalize the kicking team for kicking it out of the end zone, kicking it into the end zone, and kicking it out of bounds. So not only are the kickers working on accuracy when it comes to field goals and extra points, they're working on accuracy when it comes to kickoffs. They need to put the ball, in play. They have to put the ball inside the 10-yard line on top of everything else. And that has, but both kickers are working on both of those things. And Tanner knows that the accuracy isn't just in field goals. The consistency isn't just in making field goals. It's about being able to put the ball where the coaches want it to go and kicking it to returners that the coaches want returning the football. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in practices and a lot of things that the kickers are working on. And Tanner just said, he's just focusing on himself. He's focusing on what he can do best and not really worrying about anybody else on the team. So I think he has a good mindset and just working on being consistent. That's the thing that he wants to improve upon in practices this spring.
And what have you been working on in practices these last few weeks?
First time in camp has been good so far. Learning a lot of things on the fly. I think most of your learning kind of comes when you're in the team period, just kind of going full speed. That's the best time to kind of learn from your mistakes and really get a feel for what it's going to be like out there on the field. And it's been good so far, especially being around the vets. The vets they've been doing a great job of just kind of just teaching us, showing us the ropes, and just giving us a little just a little details, how to be a better football player. Especially getting with like Kobe, Bobby, Dez, all those guys. They've been a great help for me, and so far it's been great. And just trying to build and stack days, and got a few more days left, so just got to make the most of the last of this bit.
So, given Tanner Brown's experience with the Rams last year, does his familiarity with the team give him an edge over Carty?
Yeah, I don't know if it gives him an edge. He's definitely more comfortable in practice this time around. He seems to know what to expect. There's no surprises. He doesn't feel like he's in an unfamiliar place. And I think he has a little bit of an advantage over Cardi in that respect. But both kickers are very talented. I mean, both had very successful college careers. Both have proven that they can make field goals in big games. They're not affected by the pressure of late second decisions and late second pressures in games. So that part they're probably even on. The difference is that Tanner's been through this before. The experience I think is helping him maintain his focus and being able to just know, like I said, there's no surprises. He knows exactly what to expect in practice this spring.
So I want to ask you about Fisk. So how is the transition from college football to the NFL impacting Fisk's performance in the spring practice?
Right. So we talked about this too. Like Braden was talking about how the pace of an NFL practice is faster. And then he said everything happens so fast, but he likes it. He likes the pace. He likes being able to get in and out of drills, getting in and out of reps quickly. He knows he has a small window to show the coaches what he can do, and he knows he'll have plenty of opportunities to do that, but he also knows that he has to be his best when he's on the field. So it's a good, he's found a comfort zone in that pace. And I think that because he enjoys that the quickness, the fast pace of practice, it's good as he's making this transition from college to the NFL.
So how is the overall depth and competition with the Rams roster shaping up based on what you've seen so far in spring practice?
Well, especially on the defensive side of the ball, the Rams' first 2 draft picks were defensive players, and both came from Florida State, and so they have a lot of depth on the defensive side of the ball, on the defensive line. The depth is all very young, though. It's all very inexperienced. They're two of their big contributors, two of the players that the Rams want to see make big contributions next season are rookies. They're really good rookies, and I've heard good things about both of them. But it's going to take them some time to get acclimated to the NFL. And from talking to Braden, it sounds like he's embracing it. He's embracing the change. He's embracing the speed at which he's expected to learn. And the depth, I think the depth on the defensive line is going to be a huge benefit for the Rams next season.
But that's our show. So tune in next week for more discussions about the news from Santa Clarita. You can listen to us on the radio at KQRU 107.9 FM at 9 on Saturday mornings. You can also watch us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and listen to us on SantaClaritaStar.com or wherever you get podcasts. So leave us a comment and be sure to subscribe to Santa Clarita Weekly online. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Santa Clarita Weekly. You can watch the show on Santa Clarita Star's YouTube channel and Facebook page, as well as listen in on the radio at KQRU 107.9. Visit SantaClaritaStar.com for more content and tune in right here to KQRU 107.9. A new voice for Santa Clarita.